read a post on Facebook recently that really struck me. To be honest, I was incredulous. The comment was so wrong, so misinformed that I had to respond. The post was this: when a woman does something for a man, he doesn't react by thinking she's an amazing woman. Rather, he feels, I am an amazing man, and this is why she does these great things for me. And I want you to pause right here, not to talk about men or women, but to recognize how a single thought, if left unchallenged, can become something that we believe wholeheartedly, even if it's completely false and there's no evidence to support it. This is a people problem, not a male or female problem. This isn't about dating or even gender dynamics. This is about how we think because we all do it. We take something that we feel or assume or that we heard and we let it marinate until it turns into a solid belief. Not because it's true, but because it's comfortable and because we never challenge it. That's how lies live in our lives, in our minds for years, and we don't even notice. Your thoughts are not always true. Your thoughts are not facts. They feel real, they feel convincing, but sometimes they're just echoes of pain or memories or past experiences or ego or fear dressed up as logic. There's a psychological term for this, and it is cognitive distortion. There are a lot of these that are recognized by all of the major psychological groups and doctors and counselors and all of that. These are examples of incorrect thinking or wrong thinking, and one of the most common is mind reading. Yes, it is mind reading. It is that simple. Mind reading is when you assume that you know what someone else thinks or feels, regardless of how much evidence you have to support it. Without ever asking and without knowing, you just assume that you know what they think or feel, which is impossible because none of us can read minds. You're guessing, and is usually you're wrong. You assume that people dislike you. You assume your boss doesn't respect you. You assume your partner's upset. You assume your friend is distant because of something you did. And all of these assumptions, they pile up. They build a false reality. You are not living in truth. You are living in a story that your brain made up. Now let's talk man to man. A lot of us were never taught to question our own thoughts or our own beliefs. We were taught to act, to decide, to lead, but not to reflect, not to examine, never to pop the hood and have a look inside of our own mind, our own perspective. So we just run with the first interpretation that pops into our head and we take it as gospel. We build a whole framework with broken bricks. That is not weakness, that is blindness. Growth doesn't start when you read a book or watch a video. These things can give you ideas and help you with your motivation, but it starts when you sit down and examine your own mind and your own thoughts and say, wait, is this even true? That's it. That's the doorway to freedom. And by the way, apply this to your own thoughts and opinions as well as those that are posited by others. We have plenty of false beliefs about ourselves and about the world. These are limiting beliefs because if the way you think is flawed, and please hear me here, please understand this because it's a key point. If everything you think is flawed, then everything that you build on top of it, your decisions, your relationships, your confidence, all of these things are going to be unstable. False beliefs are sneaky and they're comforting. They explain away failure and they justify avoidance. They keep you safe, but they also keep you small. Things don't work out for me. I'm just not one of the lucky people. She must think she's better than me. People always leave. I'm always the guy that gets overlooked. Whatever it is. These things are not reality. They are residue. They are unexamined history and old baggage and your limiting beliefs masquerading as facts that you just choose to still drag around with you, or maybe you don't even know you're dragging it around with you. And that's the point. You have to stop and look at this stuff. You have to examine these thoughts and these opinions to find out if they still serve you or if there's any evidence, that they're true. Real strength is self-accountability. It doesn't come from your paycheck or how much you can bench press or even how many women you can go out with. It's in your willingness to look at your own thoughts and say, this isn't serving me anymore. That is power. Because the man who controls his thoughts doesn't need to control anyone else. He walks in clarity and peace, and he becomes someone others can trust, not because he's perfect, but because he is aware. 3 steps. Simple steps. 3 simple steps. Catch the thought. When you feel triggered or hurt or off, stop and ask, what am I believing right now? What evidence do I have to support that what I'm thinking is actually true? Next, you want to challenge the thought. Ask if it's true. What else could be true? Are there any other explanations? Choose the truth. Replace these distortions with clarity. So, what do you do now? It's simple, but it's not easy. First, you have to catch the thought. When you feel triggered or hurt or angry or whatever, stop and ask, what am I believing and what evidence do I have that this belief is actually true? Challenge the thought. Ask if it's true. What evidence is there? Is there any other explanation? Is there anything else that could possibly be true instead of this thing that I'm thinking? You have to replace your distortion, your cognitive distortion, with clarity. I don't know what she thinks, but I can ask. Maybe I'm not being rejected. Maybe it's just not a match. This might not be about me at all. If you do this consistently, then you will eventually become unrecognizable in the best way. If you want to grow, really grow, you've got to stop managing your image and start managing your thoughts. This is the hard road. Really delving into your own personality and your own thoughts and your own mind is not an easy thing to do. But if you really want to grow, you've got to do this. It's the road worth walking. If this spoke to you, please like and subscribe for more content, and drop a comment below. What's a false thought that you've been holding on to, or what's a false narrative or thought that somebody else has ascribed to you or accused you of that was absolutely false. Tell us what experience you have with this. We have to let go of that old stuff and get rid of those old patterns, and reassess where we're at. You're not alone in this, so keep showing up. This is a hard road. It's not easy, but it is definitely one that's worth walking. If you got anything out of this, if any of this resonated with you, please like and subscribe. Drop a comment. Let me know what thing somebody has ascribed to you that wasn't true, or something that you have thought, that you realized over time you needed to change your perspective or opinion on. This is something we all need to do, and let's just, work to kind of try to help make each other better. See you on the next one.